Today I will be discussing chapter 4 in MIC 303. This chapter talks about the domain modeling, in which I will be discussing only a few points from this chapter about the ERD and the UML class diagram. First, there are important details and information about the domain class that we have to know, such as attributes, keys or identifier, and compound attributes. Attributes basically describe one piece of information about each instance of the class. For example, if we have customer as a class in the diagram, we have attributes such as customer ID, his name, his last name, his email address could be described as an attribute of this class. Identifier or a key is one attribute that is uniquely identifies an instance of the class. And keys are required for data entities, and they are optional for domain classes. For example, in the customer example, we have customer ID as a primary key in this entity, and it's uniquely identify this entity or class. And we have compound attributes. Compound attributes are two or more attributes combined into one structure to simplify the model. Information in the UML class diagram and the ERD diagram, in which we have the relationship in the ERD diagram called cardinalities. However, in UML class diagram, we have associations and not relationship. In UML class diagram, associations or called multiplicities is term for the number of the associations between each class. It could be one-to-one or one-to-many. It is the same thing as cardinalities in the ERD. However, in the ERD, we have cardinalities. It is the term of for number of relationship in the entity. Relationship in the ERD diagram could be one-to-one or one-to-many, and they are the same concept as each other, multiplicities and cardinalities. Associations and relationships apply in two directions. Diagram. Associations, however, have minimum and maximum constraints, in which we have we could have minimum as a zero associations. However, in this case, the associations is optional. However, if the minimum was at least one association, the association is mandatory. Different types of associations. First, we have binary association, in which it is associations between exactly two different classes. For example, we have a course section includes a students. Here we have students and the course are different classes. And unary associations, it is basically associations between two instances of the same class. For example, we have person married to a person, in which it is in the same class. And we have also ternary associations, in which we have three associations, and nary associations. It is many associations in the same class or in different classes. Talking specifically about the domain class diagram. First, class. Class is a type of classification used to describe a collection of objects. Domain class are classes that describe objects in the problem domain. A class diagram is a UML diagram that shows classes with attributes and the associations plus methods of it Domain model class diagram is a class diagram that only includes classes from the problem domain, not software classes, so no methods here. important concept in the UML class diagram: generalization and specialization. Here we have two classes in which a class inherit characteristics from the other class. Abstract class is a class that allows subclasses to inherit characteristics from this class. And concert class is a class that can have instances. Inheritance are for generalization and specialization. Let's suppose that we have a diagram that has vehicle as a class called vehicle, in which we have subclasses called, for example, a car, a motorcycle, and another type of vehicles. Those three subclasses could, those three classes could inherit characteristics from the vehicle class. And now I'm gonna talk about an important concept about the UML diagram, in which we have aggregation and composition. Aggregation is a whole part relationship where the component part exists separately and can be removed and replaced. This part can be removed from the diagram, and it doesn't affect the diagram if it was removed. So doesn't depend on another classes. However, in composition, it is a whole part relationship where the parts cannot be removed. We cannot remove the part from the diagram. The composition is a diamond shape filled with black, represented in the diagram. However, the aggregation is filled with white. To explain more, aggregation example. As an aggregation example, let's suppose we have a house and the rooms. So rooms cannot exist without the house. So here we cannot eliminate the room from the house, or the house cannot exist without a room. This is as example as the aggregation. And let's see now as an example of a UML class diagram. We can see the associations and the classes and the aggregation example. And thank you so much for watching the ivlog. I hope you enjoyed it.